Hello, Black Healing Matters family. This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we offer you ideas to hopefully move you one step closer to your healing. And today, on this final day, this Friday, happy Friday to you, first of all. You made it one more week. And again, this week is so special because it is the last episode of Black Panther week. Yes, I was inspired by seeing the film last weekend and decided to dedicate this entire week to the Black Panther film. So every episode has that theme. And today's episode of Finance Friday is no different. And the theme of today's Finance Friday is related to the Black Panther film. It's something that I recognized and noticed, not really from the film itself, but from the people who were watching the film. And by and large, I think I mentioned this, by and large, most of the people in the theater, and this is a huge theater, were Black. And there were times in the film where you could just feel, it was palpable, that so many people felt so much pride in seeing Black people in positions of power, in ownership, and just having this beautiful presence, unapologetically Black, but in complete control and power. It was, like I said, palpable. You could see it and you could feel it in the theater. People were literally cheering at the smallest gestures of power. And I believe that has a lot to do with the fact that we don't get to see ourselves in those roles. And so today I want to talk about the mentality of being owners and builders. Because you don't get to a place of a kingdom like Wakanda without the mentality of being owners and builders. And so I believe this mentality is really super important in our daily lives. And of course, it starts with being owners and builders of ourselves, of our minds, of our mindset first, and subsequently of our finances. So my first tip to really shift into this mindset of being an owner and a builder, like the members of Wakanda, is number one, self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency, depending on oneself, being independent. You notice that Wakanda in itself was a completely self-sufficient environment. I mean, they had their own little whole country, really, that completely depended on themselves. Now, in the world we live in today, that's simply not possible. But being economically self-sufficient simply means that you can take care of yourself, and everything that comes about, you're prepared to do what it takes. You have the funds to take care of it. The second really important point, number two, that I noticed from this film in Black Panther was that they were willing to invest in their communities. And so at the end of the film, there was an outtake. Again, spoiler alert, there was an outtake at the end of the film where they were going back to invest in the communities in the diaspora. Which means, again, he actually mentioned the king, Black Panther himself. He mentioned he bought some of the buildings, and they were investing in that particular neighborhood, which happened to be a Black neighborhood. And that leads me to my last point, number three. Now, again, number two is about investing money, but also number three, giving back to others in need. And so one of the important overarching big themes at the end of the film was that Wakanda was sharing their resources with the world, particularly with other Africans and the African diaspora. And so giving to those in need is also a really important economic prosperity principle. I know that we all talk about giving is a nice thing to do, but the simple truth is that giving is also a prosperity principle. And if you don't give, you're setting yourself up for unfortunately for a fall, because again, it's kind of like a waterfall. It's constantly going. If the water doesn't actually fall, there's no growth. There's complete stagnation. On that note, Black Healing Matters family, I love you. Stay blessed. Black Healing Matters.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.